Sounds like a long term.
Nate, do these turn green when they're ready, these batteries?
Yes. I just changed most of them out, so they. Is that what happened? Yeah, yours was one that I didn't change.
I do. I heard.
I'll just talk loud. Maybe I just won't say anything at all.
Well, I don't know the status of all these.
I talked to the girls about someone to start learning
I don't know.
for the cemetery, so. Yeah, I didn't.
Light comes on, but the... Hello, yeah, it's working. Turn it down.
Yeah, it must be a battery issue because I put those.
Hello.
This one was.
Yep. It's all good.
I think everybody's going now. All set.
I call to order the meeting of the Monteagle, Tennessee Mayor and Alderman, November 24th, 2025. It's 5 p.m. Central Time. If you would, please stand for the prayer.
Let's pray. Our Father, we thank you again this afternoon for an opportunity to come together and conduct the business of the town of Monteagle. We're grateful for the town we live in, and we thank you for the community that is around us, and the first responders, fire department, and EMS people, and our police force that continue to look after us around the clock. And we're just grateful for these things. We thank you for the opportunity to help out and try to make decisions that are beneficial to all involved, and we just trust that you'd help us to make those decisions correctly and continue to lean on thee for guidance and direction and the purpose we have to conduct business. In Jesus' name we ask these things. Amen.
Amen. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Nate?
Here.
Dan? Dan?
Yes, here.
Grant?
Here.
Dean?
Preston.
Here. Who is that?
Boy.
Maybe we should turn things down a little bit. Was that you? Was that you, Grant?
I don't think it was me. Turn me down a little bit.
Scared that
That was like the Phantom that was here 6 months ago. We had such a hard time getting rid of.
Okay. All right, you've taken the roll, we have a quorum. You've received the minutes in your packet. I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
I'll make a motion we accept the minutes from the last meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Are there any additions or corrections? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. You've received the minutes of the Beer Board meeting of October 27th in your packet. I'll accept a motion to accept those minutes as submitted.
I'll make a motion to accept the beer board package.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any additions or corrections as submitted? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Those are approved. Do you have any other minutes? Okay, let's move on to citizens' comments. Any citizens wish to be heard at this time?
Yes, sir, I do. Mayor, this is an open meeting, and it's public meeting to the public.
Yeah.
Are there any reason why that a citizen here that couldn't come into the meeting?
Not that I know of. What happened? What's the point?
Well, I'm just asking, this is an open meeting, but everyone is invited, everyone should be able to come through the door?
Yeah, if they're residents.
Okay, but it is, okay, I just wanted to ask that question.
Any other citizen comments wish to be heard? Okay. I have a couple of things. Before I get to the events, I have a proclamation that was prepared. I'd like to read it this time. Proclamation honoring the life and service of Alexander Lex Orr IV. Whereas Alexander Lex Orr IV, a devoted public servant, community leader, and beloved citizen of Monteagle, Tennessee, passed away on October 21st, 2025, surrounded by his family at the age of 87. And whereas born on November 8th, 1937 in Miami, Florida, to Beatrice Smith Orr and Alexander Orr III, Lex spent his childhood summers at his grandparents' home in Monteagle Sunday School Assembly, a place that became the heart of his lifelong connection to this mountain community. And whereas Lex came from a long line of civic-minded leaders whose legacy of service extended from Glasgow, Scotland to Miami, Florida, his great-grandfather, Alexander Orr, serving as mayor of Miami in the 1930s, and his family contributing to the city's development and water infrastructure. And whereas after attending Baylor School in Chattanooga, where he played reveille each morning on his trumpet, Lex continued his education at the University of Florida. And whereas Lex made Monteagle his home and gave tirelessly to its people, serving as manager of the Monteagle Sunday School Assembly from 1986 to 1997, president of the Monteagle Rotary Club, president of the Monteagle Chamber of Commerce, and as alderman and vice mayor of the town of Monteagle for 6 years. And whereas Lex's professionalism, leadership, service, and deep affection for this mountain community helped strengthen the civic, cultural, and spiritual life of Monteagle, leaving an enduring mark on the town he dearly loved. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and board of aldermen of the town of Monteagle, Tennessee, that Alexander Lex Orr IV is hereby honored and remembered for his service, leadership, and dedication to the betterment of this community. Adopted this 24th day of November, 2025 by the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the town of Monteagle, Tennessee. So without objection, if each alderman would sign and return those to me, we'll give one to the family and one will be a part of our records. Okay. A couple of things coming up in town. First of all, we have the parade, December 6th. We form at 2:30 at the flea market. We've been forming for parades, and we step off at 3:30. Please make sure any group that you know of registers so we know who's coming and how to line them up. There'll be a tree lighting this Saturday, the 29th, at 5:30 at Harton Park. I see trees going up already. We've had 15 or 17? 17 trees given by participating folks that wanted to dress up our greenway. Also on the day of the parade, starting at 9 o'clock, there'll be a Christmas bazaar here at the community, here at City Hall. And that goes till 4 o'clock or whenever the vendors leave. But it'll be a Christmas bazaar, as I believe we've had in the past from time to time.
I found this
And I believe that's it as far as my announcements. I just wish, I'm sure from the aldermen as well as myself, wish you all a happy and blessed Thanksgiving. So let's enjoy this week. That's it for my communications and calendar of events. Let's move on to reports. Police Department.
I think they're on that side.
And Sergeant Carter, I'm on the police department. I had a feeling for Chief Rayline. He had a family emergency today. So I'm going to do his report for the year. Yearly total calls for service is 3,299. which is up by 882 calls from the year prior. The total number of arrests was 56. 19% of those were drug related. Total number of county assists, this includes Grundy, Marion, and THP, were 69. Total number of reports was 145. Total number of crashes was 51. And I have a brief statement. This is from the chief. I'm just reading his report for the month. States, as I took over as chief in January 2023, over the last 3 years, the police department has trended down in arrests and crashes. I would like to think that this is a direct result of police presence. My goal in 2023 was to be aggressive and send a message that Monteagle is not a place to peddle drugs and race up and down the roads. We have had a 38% reduction in crashes from the year 2023 to 2025. Calls for service are up from 2023 to 2025 by 1,148 calls of service from the 911 dispatch center. This can be related to the increase of traffic, town growth, and more people visiting the town of Monteagle. In summary, my goal is for the town of Monteagle Police Department to continue to grow with the citizens to get more efficient of community policing. See what else we got here. All right, and he also wanted me to state as far as the chain of command goes, and the Monteagle Police Department goes Chief Rayline and myself, Sergeant Carteron, over patrol. Sergeant Gus Raby, who's over training, evidence, and compliance with the state. We have Patrolman Vest, Patrolman Chad Locke, Patrolman Cross, and we have a new officer, his name's Officer Dalton. He's one of the people in now. And we have Patrolman Richardson. The shift coverage list is one officer from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., one officer, and these are 4 rotations, so 2 different rotations. One officer from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m., and one officer from 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Monteagle Police Department is currently operating with 8 people. Chief went back and counted the staff for prior 3 chiefs before him, and it was the same number. This is the minimum number we can effectively and safely have 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365 coverage. Anything less than this will be most certainly increase overtime. Remember, we must cover vacations, sick days, and court days. We cannot count on county departments to cover our city. Their calling volume has increased as has ours, and some are unfortunately understaffed. And that's all I got right now. I mentioned the comment earlier. The reason why the subject wasn't allowed here is due to a court order. There's no one's getting turned away from there. There's a court order that's in effect for a city employee, which doesn't allow them to be here. So that's
Okay, thank you.
That's that.
Any questions from the Alderman on the police report? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Fire Department?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Guess I'm unprepared because I didn't do my year-end report, so I can make up some numbers and lie to you, so I'll just say I forgot it. Anyway, 27 calls for the month. We finally received all of our items from the 2023 CDBG grant. Those items include 15 sets of bunker gear, 15 sets of wildland extrication gear, complete loadout of ISO requirements for the fans, saws, thermal imaging cameras, and hand tools for the ladder truck, gear washer and dryer, a 2025 3500 series 4-door 4x4 brush truck with a fire skid unit, and a 2025 2500 4-door 4x4 chief support truck with a topper and a command box. So that was a pretty good grant. I think that grant, Deb can correct me, was around $300,000. I think our share was around $28,000, $30,000, somewhere in there. So pretty nice score. 8 new members and 8 existing members received their vehicle extrication research and certifications over the last weekend. Thanks to Jason Eichert and Eichert Towing from Pell, and we went down to their junkyard and done all of our junkyard work. And Sunbelt Renters provided a telehandler so we could move the vehicles around, and we greatly appreciate that. Burn permit season, I forgot to mention it last month. We're in October 15th and May the 15th. So we're in burn permit season. So if you're doing any outdoor burning, burnsafety.org. It's not like it used to be. Now there's an 877 number, 877-3 350 burn is the number to obtain a permit, or you can go online to Tennessee Forestry's page at burnsafetyn.org. If you're doing outdoor burning, just stay with your fire, and if it gets out of control or whatever, just call 911 and we'll come and help you with it. Questions on fire?
Any questions on fire from the audience? Thank you.
Yes, sir. AJ's out. He had a doctor's appointment this evening. He's not made it back yet. I'm going to go into codes. There's one property maintenance issue that's been resolved. Actually, the house sold. It was over on Forest Point. There's one more that's remaining on it that we're working with. So that's going to be resolved. There's 2 other properties in the process for further retention and compliance for cleanup. I think those properties are on Winston, over by the cemetery. That's been noted. So we've been working on it. Homeless and tent camping. If PD wants to throw into this, they can. So we've had several complaints with the homeless folks. I think one day last week we spent a whole day chasing back and forth. We went everywhere from the flea market to North Bluff and all over. I think we shook 3 people out on that one and moved 3 people. So the only thing that I can say is one of the tents is over off of North Bluff is on private property. So me as an ordinance officer, the only thing I can do is tell them that tent camping is prohibited, unless it's a bona fide campground. That's what it's come into the municipal ordinance. So, you move them on from that occasion, but at the same token, it's on private property, so it's going to have the property owner to result in a trespass, and that's going to go to a criminal side for law enforcement to move them off the property. We did move those people on regardless and just told them they needed to chew on and find elsewhere. So we know it's a problem. We've been in contact with the flea market and the property owner at the flea market. That's upcoming. So hopefully we can shake some people that's living in the flea market exhibit booths out of the flea market. Hopefully that'll be a peaceful resolution for that. Questions on that? Questions on codes or anything?
Travis, on the encampments, is that the reason that they cleared all the brush behind Circle K and stuff?
So that's phase 1 of the Bush property. I think you're talking behind the. So phase 1 of that's just kind of they decided that they were going to clear the land. That has helped a lot. I think there were 6 or 7 encampments that we found back there, and that's all vacant now. All those people's dispersed. But this other side of that is we knew where they were at. They were isolated to that area, so now they're going to disperse elsewhere.
Right.
So it's just if you see them or you encounter them, let us know. Call, let PD know, let me or AJ know, and we'll make note of it and try to. I mean, those folks have rights too as well. We'll try to accommodate them as best as we can and see where we can move them to and come up with a solution for them.
So that wasn't the purpose of the clearing?
No.
Okay.
No. I got asked if Monteagle was burning out the homeless people, and the question is no. The answer is no. Okay. That's phase 1 of the property. Phase 2 is a city right of way for a city easement to go across the property to gain access to our pump stations behind Mountain Inn.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So,
And then ultimately, the owners have expressed an interest in developing it one day, but this was phase 1 of that development process, as the chief stated.
Yep, correct. So let's go on to the Mountain Inn. So the Mountain Inn had several complaints and phone calls about the Mountain Inn. The Mountain Inn came to court last week. I spoke to Judge Raines about it. Judge Raines assessed a fine on the Mountain Inn property. There's been no positive commencement of remediating the building or anything. It remains the same. The property owner didn't show for court. Further in this, as to go after the holidays, I'll serve them to a notice for a hearing for condemnation of the building, and I'm going to seek demolition of the building. I mean, that's the only thing that I see feasibly fit. So I spoke to the mayor, and that'll probably, also require our city attorney to have some input on that side of it, and we'll move forward for demolition. This is the first time Monteagle's ever had to deal with that, but we're going to cross that bridge.
And then we'll have a lien on the property?
Yes, I'm seeking a lien on the property for the city to be reimbursed on the demolition, whatever we end up going about. It's kind of a learning curve for me, so there's no previous work that I can look at or anything. We're just kind of learning as we go.
Any other questions for the building inspector?
On this issue, you will have a plan to put in force as soon as you receive the green light for the demolition. I mean, you'll already have a sequence there that you're going to get bids or.
Yes, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but Judge Raines kind of called me off to the side and let me know of our municipal ordinance, and I hate this. I hate to sound like a dictator standing here, but I am the hearing officer. So I'll call a notice for a hearing for the property owner. They'll sit down, the city attorney will sit on the city side to represent the town. We'll listen to the hearing and make a decision whether we're gonna go for remediation on the property or demolition on the city side. I'm seeking demolition, period. I mean, we've dealt with it for a year now. December the 12th will be a year that you folks had to look at it, that our visitors had to look at it getting off the interstate. It's long enough. So they've had plenty of time. That's my hearing. So,
The remediation part is only if it's 50% or less?
yes, that's right. So that's under the state code, is if it's 50% or less, right, then they can remediate. If it's 50% or greater cost on the AIAs, then yes, we'll move for demolition. But the catch-22 to that is that building has to be brought to compliance of the 2021 Standard International Building Code. So being a hotel motel, it's going to require sprinklers and everything. So I'm making the assumption that we're already over the 50% based on the modernizations.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so that the assumption you made is the way this works, that they have had now a year to give you better numbers to work off of?
Yes.
And they have failed to do
So
that?
this comes back, I mean, giving them the benefit of the doubt. They had 6 months per city ordinance to clean the building up or do something with the building, right? Then they presented to the BZA. If you remember, they was trying to make a microtel and put kitchenettes in that. BZA was unanimous no vote. So I'm going back to July was when that took place. I just feel like that's fair, because they did have an open case with the city. So from July to present, I mean, the 6 months depleted on the allowance. That's just the way I take that. Yes. I've gotten one document that was presented the last court date, which was July, September, I guess, court date, that they had an engineering assessment done and the engineer deemed that the building was fit. That's basically all it says. So.
Fit for what?
Fit for
Any other
demolition.
questions? Thank you, Chief.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Chief.
Parks and Recreation? You want to do it now? Whatever. Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not Parks and Rec.
No, but
I just have two.
you brought a lot of Christmas trees onto the greenway.
Does this work? Does this work? Just two things. You heard the mayor talk about the Christmas bazaar. I have a handout to give to the alderman and the mayor and the rest to those who are here. And then the lighting of the trees on Saturday. This is something new. We're going to try and get a new community event. We'll have some Christmas caroling and light up the greenway. So not just the trees, but the figures that are there, and we've got lights around the tree trunks, and we hope it's going to make everybody feel good.
What time is that?
5:30. And
What day?
is there anything else, Mayor, that I need to?
This coming Saturday?
Yeah, this coming Saturday.
This coming Saturday. It's Saturday after Thanksgiving, so that the lights can be up starting December 1st.
Any other questions? Is there more?
Please go by and see the trees. Grant and his wife have put up a tree. And Iva and her family are putting up a tree. Linda's done 2 trees. So.
Just a quick thank you to Virginia Curry and to you, Martha, for putting that together. And we've got, I think last year we ended up with 6 trees maybe in the little corner down here or something. And this year we're up to 17, is that our?
17 trees.
Which is really great. So people were, I think, complaining in years past about lights, and now we've got trees and lights and all kinds of other things. So take a look at it and enjoy it. Thank you for doing that.
Martha Ann, does that conclude your report?
That's me, yeah.
Thank you. Utility manager? John, do you have anything?
No, I don't.
Any aldermen have any questions on utility?
There was a lot of information in our packet there from Travis. Is that?
Yes, we'll be getting to that, as you see on the agenda, farther down under new business.
Okay.
Any other questions for utility? There's nothing from the street department. We did go with
Yeah, I got a couple
I'm
of
sorry?
things. Yes, sir. I had a call from a lady about the street lights out on Laurel Lake. And I think there was somebody in the audience a couple of months ago came in at the meeting and stated they were having problems with the street lighting, and they deemed it, thought it was a safety issue. And I think at the time, it was either last month or month before last, we told them we would turn those into Sequatchie Valley for repair. Has that been done?
Yes, what we had was turned into Sequatchie Valley. I received an email from a resident. I contacted Sequatchie Valley. We're getting a list of the addresses and locations, and we'll forward that to Sequatchie, and I will follow that up.
Can you add to the list, the corner of 3rd and King and 4th and King, both of those lights are out as well?
Yeah, I think we need to have a short discussion on remedy, and right now, people just have to call in and say the light is out. Is that how it works now?
That would probably be the best if we get an exact location.
I surveyed them all 2 years ago, and we got everything running, and there was a conversation about how we might better track them, but I don't know that we got anywhere.
And then the other issue on the fog, we can't do, obviously we can't put down reflectors on every city street on the roadway, but I noticed like at Clouds Hill, they put yellow wraparounds on the light poles. I assume it's for fog illumination. That might be something that would be a lot easier to do and less expensive, I would think.
Are they reflective? Is that it?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Close Hill, take a look.
It's like tape, isn't it? That's a whole lot cheaper than those that you have to glue into the roadway. They get run over all the time.
Okay, Planning Commission meets this, next Tuesday, December 2nd at 4 o'clock here. Beautification and Tree Board, well, we heard from Beautification. Anything on Tree Board?
They're working on a tree ordinance.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in my book. I should be able to have something in the next couple of weeks. I've taken Tullahoma's and Antioch's and the model ordinance and trying to just put them all together, have something for us to talk about.
Imagine Monteagle, Brent?
Yeah, I'm going to go, before I start on Imagine Monteagle, I've got one go back on utility. Received an email from a citizen about being overcharged on their water bill. One was at the Cove Creek Farm and then Cooley's Riff. They had like a $7,000 and a $17,000 bill. Do we know, I assume that's been rectified? And do we know what caused that meter reading or the meter malfunction?
Do you know?
Cove Creek Farm had a leak, a bad leak. So they're trying to get it all fixed. They still had 88,000 gallons on their bill this month.
Are we notifying them kind of ahead of time?
Yes.
Letting them know they
I talked to Matt myself.
Okay. And then what about over in Cooley's? There was one individual that got the $7,000 invoice.
I don't know anything about that one.
Okay.
I don't know who that was.
It would help if you could forward that email to us.
Okay, I can do that.
Thank you.
And I think slightly related, thank I want to thank the CPA for moving to that ledger analysis. It's a lot more helpful. You can, because you can actually see how many billing errors were corrected in the prior month. If you go down under accounts receivable, it shows, I think there were 7 or 8. So I don't know how to compare that to what a normal month is. But they're now in that ledger analysis.
I'll have to look at that a little deeper. I didn't notice that part of it. For Imagine Monteagle, just a quick update on a couple of grants. We did not receive the TN 250 grant for the mural. We kind of rushed that application. We had one day to put it together. But it reopens again November 17th and is open until mid-January, so we are going to reapply for that and put in a little bit more detail to tie it a little bit better to historical, as an historical kind of artifact for the mural on the side of the fire station. So we'll be reapplying for that and changing up some of the language. And I think we were applying. We applied for 20,000 this first time. It needs to be 25 though, so we can cover some other design costs and stuff. On the brownfield grants, I finally got clarification on that. So these brownfield grants come in. There's essentially 3 different phases that you can have with a brownfield grant. One's identification, one is assessment, and then one is remediation. We won a $20,000 grant for identification, what we will do is we will hire an environmental engineer that will look at the city as a whole and come up, identify, he'll do whatever, it's kind of a phase 1 that he would be doing, but he'll come up with any properties that might be suspect and would warrant some kind of further investigation to see if there's if it qualifies as a brownfield. That particular grant, so it's $20,000. It does have a 5% fee built into it for administrative purposes, so the city will not be paying any money. There's no match, but the city will not be paying any money to Shelley Daniels, our grant writer. She'll be getting that. The next step for that identification grant is to sign the contract, Mayor. I should have the contract next week. I've looked at a template of the typical contract, but it's long, but it's not really that complicated. But we should be getting our specific contract sometime, hopefully next week. We can sign that and move forward. Shelley will be taking care of putting out an RFQ to get 3 bids from different environmental engineers to bid on this work. That's part of the requirement. And that can move forward pretty quickly once we sign the contract. That is a reimbursable grant, as are most grants. But I have been told that this particular organization within the state has paid out once invoices are submitted, they're reimbursed within like 7 days or earlier. So it should be a quick turnaround with us getting our money back. We also won a grant for around $97,000 for the assessment piece, which is the second kind of phase of this brownfield grant. That was awarded for a very specific piece of property. This is a piece of property, Mayor, that I think you mentioned and asked Shelley to put into the grant. It is the piece of property behind the ball field. I can't remember it's privately owned. That one is a little bit trickier, so we've got some legwork to do before we would decide if we sign that contract because it is private property. The process for that would be we'd go out for a bid for an environmental engineer. He would do both a phase 1 and a phase 2 on that property to figure out what is out there and what type of remediation would need to be done. In order to do that, we would have to, since it's private property, there's a process that is very typical with the brownfields. We would do a quick deed. We would have the property owner quick deed claim the property to the city temporarily so that we can receive the money, do the phase 1 and phase 2 assessment, and then we would quit claim the deed back to the original property owner. And then we would decide at that point whether we want to apply for the remediation grant, which could be upwards of, I think, $200,000 to $300,000 or $400,000, so depending on what is out there and what the remediation may cost. So before we move into that, signing anything with that contract, we would need to reach out to the property owner and see if they are amenable to having us do this quitclaim deed and doing the assessment on the property. So, and if they're not willing to, then that's fine. We don't sign the grant, we don't get the money for it, and it just stays in private hands. It would help the property owner eventually if they did want to sell the property, to have it at least assessed, and then also to have it remediated too, and money is available for that. Again, this is a no-match grant because we're a tier 3 and 4 counties, Grundy and Marion. And there's an administrative fee built into that too, so it's no money out of the city's pocket for the administration of the grant. If anybody knows the property owner that we're talking about, I think everybody knows the property. It's wrapped around behind the ball field. There's some old equipment back there. There's I know you know the property owner. It's a lady. It's a large track. You can access it at the end of one of the roads off Laurel Lake by going through a gravel road. And there's a gravel road that runs all the way back. There's some old machinery. And you end up out there by the Red Roof Inn area.
Would it be the Sanders?
Mayor, you were the one that brought this piece of property to light. Do you remember who the owner is?
I don't.
Okay. We'll look at.
We can check that, of course.
Yeah, if we could look it up, find out who the property owner is, and if anybody on the council knows these people, then it might be better for somebody from that knows them to approach them about this, about the opportunity and whether they're willing to do the quitclaim deed back and forth. So just wanted to let everybody know that that's where we stand on the current grants that we have in place, at least from Imagine Monteagle. Quick question, Debbie. I assume we are a Title VI compliant city? Yes. Okay. Shelley and/or Tammy will be reaching out to you for some information for reapplying for the TN 250 grant for the mural.
Okay.
Any questions? Yes.
What exactly is a brownfield grant? I mean,
Sorry?
What exactly is a brownfield grant? What do they work on?
What it does is it identifies properties that may be contaminated.
Oh, okay.
Underground storage tanks, old equipment, old tank farms, things like that, and then it lets you understand to what extent it might be contaminated, and then as you go further along in that process, you can end up with remediating the site so it becomes a clean site.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
One of the reasons that we were chasing this grant is we felt like as a city as a whole, not just the public properties, but a city as a whole, it might be a good idea if there's a red flag that's raised about a particular piece of property, that then we could either notify the private property owner, or if it's city property, we would know to take some sort of action, and lets us know what properties around the city are cleanly available potentially. So.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Any other questions, council members, on Imagine Monteagle? Thank you, Grant. The only other grant to consider, I think, we're about to close out that CDBG grant, and the window opens in early '26. There may be a need to take a look at whatever they're offering. But once we close that and get a final word, we can take another look at that.
There's an ARC opening right now as well.
Yes.
We closed the tourism grant.
We did close it. We've closed the tourism grant and working on that as well. Okay, Alderman report, Dean?
A few things. About the U.S. flag and the branches of service, the flags, location for that. We're interested in asking the city to consider any site, but one of the, so we think a good site would be adjacent to the library over here. on the east side of the library, extending toward the road there. It's 70 feet wide from the edge of the asphalt down to the trail. And then we would have to see what the length was, and then there's a little bit of fill that would have to be done. But the consensus with some people, we haven't met with everybody. We were supposed to met Tuesday, and I didn't get a call on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I didn't get a call on it, so I don't know what happened there. But anyway, that it would be already have parking available, and it would be something that could be tied into the library and used even with the school, Monteagle School, when they visit the library to do that, and it would kind of be dedicated to the men and women that are veterans and kind of what I would say patriots that have served our country. And I think, I don't know who on this council has served in the military. I have, and I know the mayor has. Does anybody else? So Mayor, you're the representative. You had 20 years?
21 years.
21 years. So but anyway, that's something that the flagpole has been donated. It was offered several years ago, and it's kind of been stale, and we've been trying to get it back going. And I guess there was some discussion about down in front of the fire department, and we didn't receive much positive response from that. There was some mentioned over beside on the railroad property beside the pavilion, and I don't know, if, about the parking and actually who owns that. I can't remember how the land swap was done. Nate, do you remember?
Right out here?
Yes.
So the Mountain Trail Alliance owns the tree triangle, and then the rest belongs to the DuBose Partners, the Lane Development Group.
Okay.
The town property begins right at Overton Street and runs over to Bennett.
Yeah, okay, so that belongs to DuBose. I thought the town swapped to DuBose to move the road over or something.
They did. So the DuBose Center used to own this, and the town used to own that, and they swapped.
Okay.
So that's how City Hall came to be in city's property, because it was owned by the DuBose Center, and so that was the swap.
Yeah, this property here was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Dean, if I may, that's for the service flags as well as the American flag, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you talking about I like the idea of the library. It seemed like a highly visible spot and all. Are you talking also about some sort of plaque or some kind of structure that would have names of veterans or anything like that, or just the flags?
Well, initially, phase one would just be to get the flags going, and I guess there would be, hopefully there would be phase 2 and 3 to see what the community wants to do. I think it should be up to the community if they're willing to want something and work towards that. There's a few communities we've looked at in Whitwell. They have a nice one. Pikeville, and you can get on the internet and just see them everywhere. And so it's just, it's like everything else. It depends on how much work people will put into it as to what we get back from it. But it is the most visible place. And electricity for the lights is on the poles down there, I've been told, where we can tie in. Tony, what is that, just a service where?
Yeah, there's 200 amp services down there, and we've got all kinds of availability for the power, for the lighting.
And like I said, when we looked at it, we were just talking about going out there and probably staking off where the American flag would be, and then draw a radius around that, and then just flag off where the branches of service flags would be, and then look at that and make any necessary adjustments. And you can put the flag beside the building, or you can put the flag over to the right of the building where you're facing it as you look out the window. There's several options to do there, and of course there'll be somebody that don't like either one of them. So it's just probably majority needs to decide, and I think we need to try to get started on this. I think there's no reason we shouldn't be able to have this by Memorial Day if we wanted to. And so hopefully we can get that marked off here in the next week or so, let people look at it and get feedback from it. And then the next thing I have is, I guess a question for Debbie on beer license. Debbie, do people pay that every year?
Yes, it's a renewal.
Okay. And then we talked about street lights. I've handed out a personnel policy that's our current personnel. The council has a copy of that. I would like for us to consider having a workshop and going over that and making any additions or deletions that the council thinks in the best interest. And I think probably if we can get a draft or something, I think I would like to see the employees' feedback on it and see. And there needs to be some specifics to it. But anyway, I would ask that we consider doing a workshop as soon as possible on it. And then I was called by Scott Lingenfeld. Scott's here. Is that you back there? No, that ain't Scott. Anyway, he called me about the town of Monteagle going out to his residence on Summerfield Road, which is not in the city limits. And ultimately, he was arrested by a Grundy County deputy and taken to Pilkington, yeah. My mind's gone. That is Scott. Yeah, okay. If I say something wrong other than your name, you can correct me. Anyway, he was, the town of Monteagle Police Department was to your residence. Is that right, Scott?
That's correct.
And that is not in the city limits. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And my question is, why are we going outside the city limits for calls and police departments here? And you may want to come up and answer these questions.
Sure.
And in regards to the fact that Monteagle went on that call, do you have anything to update?
Can you give me a little context to the call?
September 17th, Scott had said Monteagle police came out there and crippled Hooker's Wrecker came to his residence and was going to attempt to get retrieve a tractor, I think was the word on that, and his 2 dogs. And I'm assuming we have body cam of that if it was an incident.
Okay, so this is a county assist call, is what it was.
Pardon?
A county assist, due to the lack
I think Monteagle got there before the county did.
That's why you do an assist. Whoever can get there faster. It was a domestic call. Called domestic, so it's a priority call. If you have a domestic, which a possible assault is occurring, you want your quickest possible response, correct?
Yeah, if all that stuff is
so
accurate,
you
if
call
your
your
information is
closest
accurate.
law enforcement agency when you're requested, which is basically our job, correct?
Yeah, if you're doing.
Yeah, so we have.
If that's
So if a call comes out as domestic, we respond to it as domestic. We don't know what's going on.
Okay, so you were dispatched, you being in the town of Monteagle.
No. It was a county assist. The Grundy County Sheriff's Office was dispatched. Grundy County Sheriff's Office requested mutual aid due to them being further out than us. And it was a priority call. So we go and call and stand by, make sure no one's getting hurt, no one's getting injured, no property's getting damaged. So we just stand by, try to make peace until Grundy County can come there and work their call.
Okay, so 911 would have taken the initial call then?
911 takes the call, they dispatch it, pinged out wherever he lives out in the county. And the county says, hey, can Monteagle assist on there until we get there?
Okay.
And we have a mutual aid agreement with the sheriff's office, so therefore we go out there, which mutual aid is basically an insurance thing, but we're required by law enforcement officers to assist other agencies. Right. We don't have mutual aid with Tennessee Highway Patrol either, but if Highway Patrol's on a fight on the side of the interstate, do we say, hey, we can't go out there, we don't have mutual aid? Yeah. No, we're required by post standards to assist other agencies.
Okay. So the 911, there'll be a 911 tape of this call?
Yeah, there's a CAD generated. Was there an arrest made?
Yes.
Okay, so 911 was called, and it was mutual aid. It went through 911 dispatch. Dispatch sent it to Grundy. Grundy requested us. We go on scene, stand by till Grundy gets there. And my knowledge, Deputy Young made an arrest on a false imprisonment.
Yes, I think that's correct.
Was that the call, was the false
Yeah.
imprisonment,
Yeah,
the
I
arrest?
think that's when they got
Okay.
there at the county jail,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
jailer told me they'd never heard of false imprisonment.
Well, false imprisonment is a very common thing. We had one here not too long ago, you arrived on scene.
Yeah. They say Marion County didn't know. I said Grundy County didn't know.
Well, false imprisonment is a very common law that gets violated when a
And they
domestic
said the
assault.
chief of police in Monteagle recommended he be arrested for that charge.
Yeah, I would take advice from a senior officer as well if I was, a younger officer. If the chief of police says, hey, this is what you have.
I'm just saying what the facts are, is what we're trying to.
Yeah, we kick our stuff back and forth all the time. You have a younger officer, you have an older officer, you get advice from where you can get it. But yeah, it's common to mutual aid and.
So why was there a record on scene if it was a domestic dispute?
Well, if a record goes on scene and it sounds like it was a civil matter to me. Something about property, whatever. We don't have anything to do with civil matters. But who's there on the scene has nothing to do with us. Doesn't matter
I
if it's
understand
crippled,
that, but it seems the common fallback is always, it's a potential emergency, and I don't think Scott were you assaulted, sir?
No, my dogs are being kidnapped.
Well, I recommend him not making a statement.
Right,
It's
yeah, and that's been
litigation
talking.
right now. This doesn't make sense to
But
bring
if it
this
wasn't
up.
him assaulted, it would have had to, the other party would have had to been, and there was no charge for assault.
I can't comment. Well, you don't have to have assault to get false imprisonment. Prevent someone to freely move about their day is false imprisonment. If you park
The
your car
Attorney
behind
General
the
was
car.
going to dismiss it.
Well, that's irrelevant on our part, but we were, our
But it's
basic,
irrelevant on your part at one time,
what was?
something being dismissed. So we don't need to act like it's irrelevant one time and it's not another.
Well, it's not, you didn't ask me that. You asked me as far as us responding to it and what happens after. That was irrelevant as far as that goes. I was responding to your question about us responding to a scene. What happens after us leaving, which we had no charges, is irrelevant to us.
Well, I assume we have no business being out there when you arrive and there's been no assault.
Were you there?
Pardon?
Were you there?
No,
Okay. Do you have all the facts of the case?
I don't know.
Well, you're defending it
saying
like
I
you
don't?
were.
Well, wait a minute, let's not get too far afield on this. That's
Well-
what's happened so far. It sounds like ongoing. If there are any further questions,
So
I'll
maybe
take
the
them
basis
up
of
with
it
the
is
chief.
mutual aid. That's it. It's common practice. We do it
There
all
was
the
a
time.
request from the sheriff's department,
Yes, sir.
and you responded.
Did Monteagle, any Monteagle police officer make the arrest?
No, sir. In the statement said we had 69 other mutual aids this year.
Right, so Grundy County made the
Grundy
actual
County,
arrest.
Grundy County call, Grundy County arrest, Grundy County case.
So but my
Okay.
point is, it's real easy to go in where you want to go and say it's a mutual aid.
Nah,
If it's
we only go
requested.
for requesting. That's it.
If it's requested, thank you. Do you have anything else? Any other
Well,
points?
that's in regard to that? Or-
No,
Yeah, I got
just
several other
next.
things.
Yeah.
Okay,
What else?
thank you.
Well,
I think I'll just defer a couple of other things to next month.
All right, thank you. Brian?
I have nothing.
Dan?
I'd just like to commend the city workers for all they did in getting things set up for the Christmas and working with the lights and so forth. Thanksgiving and other holidays were well addressed also, and a lot of work went into that. And I'd like to thank the fire department for all that they're doing. They had a pretty serious call on Friday morning on the interstate, and along with wrecker associations that had to deal with that horrific fire also. And glad that there was a lot of, the safety was there for them. And just sort of commending folk that do work that takes care of these things. And I personally appreciate that. It could have been me in the middle of that, and I thank them for all they do.
Thank you, Dan. That's a valid point. I'd like to embellish a little bit on that. Flags go up for Veterans Day, flags come down, stars go up, and lights go up for the Christmas season. So there are those that do it, and there aren't that many of them that do it. So your point is well taken, and I'm sure we all join you in commending our employees and first responders, police, fire, and EMS. Thank you for that comment. Nate?
Let's see, I last month, we talked a little bit about judge evaluation, so I did reach out to the legal counsel for MTask and asked the question on evaluation, and she said that she would get back to me, has not yet, but hopefully by the next meeting we can have some way to understand how to evaluate it. I had brought up the idea of offenses against the town last month, and I think we discussed it a little bit, and then I reached out over the month to see if there was any comments, and I got a couple of comments from a couple of folks. Grant and the mayor both commented. The idea here is that the current ordinance that says offenses against the town really only applies to Laurel Lake, and we've had some questions come up about other town-owned properties around parks and people camping out in the parks and how we might deal with that. So I've put together a draft that adds a section on all town-managed property. We said town-managed property because we don't actually own Hart Park, but we do manage that. And so based on the edits from the three of us, this is where we landed. Now I need, and probably John may have the answer to this, the mayor wanted to add some language to make sure that nobody was boating within a certain radius of the actual water intake for Laurel Lake, and he wondered if there was a regulation. Do you know if there's anything related to that? Okay. So I wanted to bring this up again and have everybody look at it and have a conversation about it. I'd like to, if we think it's reasonable and doable, put it in the form of an ordinance for next month and go ahead and amend this so that we have a few more tools for the police to use when we have issues on our public property with folks loitering. There any comments on it? And I know, Dean, you had a comment about what is city-owned property around Laurel Lake. And I don't know that without a survey, we're going to be able to know that absolutely.
Well, I think probably we should at least contact the adjoining property owners. I don't think the town should pay for a licensed surveyor to do that. Like on, when you go across to the main part of the lake going, Mike Barry did a survey on a portion of that. And I would assume Lawson's would probably have a survey showing their property and anyone else in between there.
Well, we can ask the individual property owners for their surveys, or at least review it. But I believe the town does have a survey of the water plant land mass.
Yeah.
Where it goes into the lake and all that, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, I don't think we can tell people they can't have a campfire or even camp on their own private property.
Certainly not. This is only town-owned and town-managed property.
And the water line is, we were always told the only thing the town owned of Laurel Lake besides the plant was actually the water line was the property. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's always been what's been stated.
So I did pull the deed several years ago. We were looking at, somebody wanted to donate a gazebo to put on the little point. And I think there was the question of who owned the little point. And the deeds do reference, the transfer deeds do reference the high water line. I think the issue was that the dam has changed from the original plan. So the property was purchased before the lake was built. So I think it would take a survey to really know for good. I guess, I don't know that we need to know that.
It's more the access points to the water, isn't it? Those
Some of it was purchased, some of it was donated.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the deeds I remember looking at, it's been several years, but there were three different deeds that were all referencing what they thought the high water line would be. And then my understanding is that when they actually built it, the high water line changed. And that
It changed one time. John will probably remember at the spillway, there was a 2x8 or 2x10 put in, just dropped down in the slot.
To raise the water level.
To raise the water line. And to my knowledge, that's the only thing that's ever been done to Laurel Lake.
Well, now, when Jimmy Rhodes was here, we put that fuse plug on the far end. Remember, Cause you got to hide once that fuse plug out.
Yeah, the dam inspection people, whoever that was, Ronnie Bagginstosh and them done supposed to knock out that in severe flooding to keep it from dam safety or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we could look at that maybe.
Yeah, if people think this is okay, I can get with Debbie and try to get it turned into an amendment to the ordinance so that we can have a few more tools in our toolbox.
Thank you.
I was also asked to do some bank stuff, but I think I'll just wait until we get to the ordinance and talk about that. The last thing I have on my list is the sign ordinance. Travis had asked for us to update the sign ordinance. I don't know if you guys have made some progress or if that's something we need to talk about. Just want to make sure that it happens.
I agree, and I think that's something we need to talk about as a group.
So I guess Travis, you out in the hall, or are you gone?
He may have stepped out, but I'll get a hold of him and
Okay.
we'll get together on that.
Okay. Does that need to be a workshop?
Probably, much like we did the food truck.
Look through the language?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like for that, it was just a very simple change. It was like a one-line change to deal with an updated technology. We may want to do something more comprehensive as well.
Yeah, I think we probably need to have probably a workshop, because it's a little bit more than just that. I know that's one of the things I imagine Monteagle was looking to try and tweak some of the language in the signs as well, so.
Excuse me.
I think a workshop would be worth.
We're talking about a workshop for the sign ordinance.
Yeah.
You and I have had several issues come up, and I think we need to review that entire ordinance. So when the time comes, we need to sit down with the aldermen and come up with any suggestions you may have.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Anything else then?
That's it.
Okay. Moving on to old business, I will accept a motion to accept on second reading ordinance 12-25, which is basically correcting the wording of opacity and transparency. Is there a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to vote on the second reading of that ordinance change.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on this? It's been in your packet and we've discussed it, so.
Trying to find it here. Here it is. All right, it's moved in second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll accept a motion on the second reading of ordinance 13-25, the computers that we need for the bookkeeping and enterprise system that we've discussed.
I'll make a motion, we accept on the second reading ordinance 13-25, new computers.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on that motion, on that ordinance? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Finally, under old business, second reading of ordinance 14-25, the water and sewer line extension upgrades that I believe Nate added into that ordinance. Is that the same piece, right? Is there a motion to accept on second reading 14-25?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. You didn't need a roll call. Please. Moving on to new business. First reading of ordinance 15-25, adding exceptions to section 1002, subparagraph A. Which is that?
What is
Which
this
is,
about?
excuse me, which is adding additional exceptions in the town of Monteagle. Oh, this covers the additions of buildings where the total gross floor space is plus or minus a third of the 1,000 square feet. And that also in your packet. 15-25 on the first reading.
It's the 102A.
The 1002A, yes.
I didn't see 102A in our packet.
It's 15-25.
You know, it says it's amending the ordinance to add additional exceptions to section 102A.
No, 1002, 1002.
But what is 1002A?
Planning Commission. Planning Commission.
I'm pulling it up here, Dean.
This, I understand, and I apologize, came from the Planning Commission.
All right, so these are creating exceptions to site plans. I'm gonna bring up section 1002 so everybody can see it. It says a site plan shall be required for all commercial, multifamily, industrial, public, and semi-public developments and redevelopments in the town of Monteagle. Depending on the nature and intensity of the proposed land use or when there is uncertainty as to the building setbacks, easements, property lines, or utility locations, the enforcement officer or planning commission may require that a site plan be prepared and stamped by a licensed engineer, surveyor, or architect. Exceptions: the following uses shall be exempt from the site plan requirements and may instead submit a sketch plan. So detached single-family residence, including mobile homes, duplexes, and accessory structures. So that's as it currently read. And so,
Basically saying that you wouldn't have to have an architectural design if it's just sort of asking for a site plan.
yeah, these are small projects. This is exempting site plans for small
So the
projects.
sketch would be
Sketch
acceptable.
would be fine, yes.
So item 5, new buildings where the total gross floor area does not exceed 1,000 square feet. Does that not come into conflict with what we're trying to do with the ordinance, the zoning stuff, Nate? Aren't some of
No,
those-
because this section 1002 only deals with commercial, multifamily, industrial, public, and semi-public developments. So it wouldn't hit regular residential as exempt from the site plan requirement.
Well, but aren't some of our, isn't some of that C1 planning going to potentially less than 1,000 square feet for business operations?
Yes.
So, and this would be a it doesn't indicate whether it's standalone or not, so I think we either need to revisit item 5, or we need to have something in there specific about it being standalone or something, because that way, if a new business comes in and it's gonna be 800 square feet, one of those little skinnies along the frontage, then they would not need a site plan, which I don't think is a good idea.
But they would need a sketch plan. So
Well-
it's not as though they wouldn't need anything, it's lowering the bar and keep from having to get an architect involved.
What's the difference between a sketch plan and a site plan then?
A sketch plan doesn't have to be created by a licensed architect. It has to have, I think, all the same requirements.
So I would want to see the sketch plan definition so that we know that it's got all the things that would be needed in there for a new building.
All right, let me see if I can do that.
Sketch plan would be-
I'm gonna give myself a crick in my neck if I don't bring it back over here, but let's see if we can figure this out.
Is this something we can defer to the next meeting until we get a copy of a sketch plan and address the new buildings? I mean, it appears to me if you build a new building, that you don't have to have a site plan period if the gross floor area does not exceed 1,000 square feet and the site is less than 10,000 square feet, then you would not need a...
Yeah, that concerns me. Item 5 concerns me.
Yeah, I see why it does. I mean, we're just seeing this for the first time, so I think it does make sense to look at it a little more.
So if we could get a definition for the sketch plan, see how that compares to the definition of a site plan?
I'm sorry, say that again, define sketch plan?
Yeah, we need the definitions of the requirements of a sketch plan versus the requirements of a site plan.
They probably have a sample we could look at, won't they?
You're asking that of the commission?
Yes, so we have that information for the next meeting, correct?
Hang on, sketch plans are on page 86 here.
You have a motion for that?
Okay, do we need a motion to defer this, or?
Let's see. Hang on. I do have a definition of sketch plans. Sketch plans contain less detail than a site plan and do not require planning commission approval. Oh, so I think you're onto something. Instead, they may be administratively approved by the enforcement officer. Sketch plans may be prepared by the applicant and do not require a stamp from a surveyor, architect, or engineer.
Okay, that has utility implications, it's got all kinds of drainage implications and everything else, even though it's a small building. So I think we probably need to defer this and take a look at new language for item 5.
Yeah.
So I'd like to make a motion to defer ordinance number 1525 from its first reading until the December meeting with new language to be drafted for item number 5.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion?
Yeah, we used to have sketch plans. Bear Daddy used to draw them out on napkins at the restaurant, so it shows you, I mean, I'm serious. John Condra can probably remember, and Tony can remember that right over here. He would draw them out on a napkin, and that was the sketch plan.
A lot of that stuff got built.
Yes.
I'm sorry? Yeah. Oh, who did, do you have the names? Okay.
Yeah, I think this can probably be worked on. It does, the sketch plan must demonstrate full compliance with the ordinance. I've seconded the
All right, so there's,
distract ourselves.
there's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion?
No.
All those in favor say aye.
This is in favor of
I'm sorry.
deferral, right?
Deferral.
Deferral, that's the motion on the floor.
Aye.
Any opposed? The first reading of ordinance 15-25 is deferred until the next meeting. I'll accept a motion on first reading of ordinance 16-25, moving funds into the capital account.
I'll make a motion to accept ordinance 1625 for the $500,000 transfer into the capital replacement fund.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion on the motion? Well, I have discussion. I'm not in favor of this transfer for several reasons. I do not see the urgency to do it quickly. I think we can add to the year-end balance at the appropriate time. Once the funds are transferred to the capital account, they can be used only for capital purchases and cannot be transferred out for any other reason. Although you have quoted the controller's suggested amount to continue to the end of the year, I am sure the same controller will take action if we do not make it to June 30th, 2026. As we have done in the past, I would be in favor of transferring funds at the end of this fiscal year based on the accountant's suggested amount, as we have always done. No one can really predict what the future holds between now and June 30th, 2026. Those are my comments on the motion. Any other comments?
So when we discussed this last, I volunteered to go talk to the banks. It was my understanding from that meeting with the CPA that we're earning 3.5% currently at Mountain Valley. As of today, we are earning 3.6% at Citizens Tri-County on our capital reserve account. Renee matched and then did 0.1% higher. So we have that now going forward. I also reached out to Tower. They were willing, if we were interested in moving our capital accounts there, they were willing to go 3.5. If we move capital and general fund, they were willing to do 3.75 on all of it. So that's an attractive offer. You know, the old adage about putting all our eggs in one basket it comes up in my mind, but those are the offers. Citizens Tri-County is not an offer. It was made effective today. So we're now earning 3.6 on our capital reserve account. So if we choose to make this transfer, then that'll also be earning more interest by moving it to capital reserve. And I guess while I'm talking, just to speak to the mayor's comments, I think it is the intent to restrict these funds. We are trying to build a rainy day fund for capital improvements in the town of Monteagle, and we can't do that until we move them out of our general fund and into capital reserve. And I think we have sufficient funds within our operating account, the comptroller has said, to more than sufficient reserves to be able to do this. And I think it's it's the right thing to do for our children and for the future. It's a long-term move.
That's right, everything being equal in a perfect world. I'm not sure the controller is going to hold us harmless if we don't make it to June 30th. I understand their arithmetic and we have money supposedly to get us to that end date, but I'm not sure that'll happen until it happens. We're already moving the end of the previous fiscal year into that, and I understand the goal, but I don't see why we can't wait. The other part that I just realized, there'd been some discussion of starting a earlier budget analysis and preparing the budget for the next year. So if we transfer what the accountant has said to, we can certainly start our discussions and workshops that I think we had said starting in January. So that was another reason for my comments. Any other comment on this ordinance 16-25? Roll call.
Yes.
Roll call vote, please.
Dean,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
Mayor.
No. Okay, I'll accept a motion on first reading of ordinance 17-25, budget amendment for the tourism grant.
I'll make a motion, we, on the first reading, accept the ordinance 17-25 on budget amendment for tourist grant.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. First reading of ordinance 18-25, purchase of ARs from the drug fund. Is there a motion to accept on first reading ordinance 18-25?
I'll make a motion for ordinance 1825.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you. Is there discussion on the motion?
Yes, what are these and what are they used for?
They're guns.
Okay.
I know they're guns, but I see them like they're machine guns. Do we need a machine gun?
Apparently.
And what's a suppressor?
The question was asked. Sorry.
So they are rifles. They're not fully automatic machine guns. They're semi-automatic rifles.
What's a suppressor?
It quiets the noise down. It don't make it silent like you see on the movies, but it does quiet the noise down that comes out of the barrels because they are pretty loud.
Okay. And we need to have 8 of these?
Yes, sir.
And typically, how often have we used those or something similar to that?
I mean, we qualify with them, but I mean, a lot of times, there's times we work with one person per shift. It gives us an advantage. It helps us defend ourselves and defend the citizens. A lot of people have these now. Everybody has multiple
So
ones.
it's just kind of a standard issue
It's a
for
standard,
inventory of
by us
firearms?
not having them, it puts us at a disadvantage when we're dealing with people.
Okay.
You have them, we have them right now, they're just in poor repair, is that right? That's what we understand from the chief.
We have 3, I believe, that do not work, they do not function. The few officers here, we carry our own personal ones that we qualify with.
Okay.
But we don't have any workable, I think the chief here has one that's department issue.
Any discussion on the motion?
How many, we're asking for how many?
8,
8?
yes, sir.
And you feel like the suppressors are a needed addition to that?
I feel like they offer a lot of benefits, primarily if we have, if we're in a situation where we have to use them and there is multiple officers, it makes it, we're not going to have time to put our ear protection on like we would at the range, so it makes it where we can still hear each other and communicate without deafening sounds. God forbid we have a school incident in the school. Think about the trauma to other people, the trauma to kids from those loud guns going off. It silenced that down quite a bit.
Can this also help distinguish your fire from enemy fire?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Any other discussion on the motion?
Odd question, my understanding is everything that is bought with drug funds has to have a sticker on it that shows that it was purchased with drug funds. I know this mostly from patrol cars. Do you have to do that with these? Are these going to be special? And they need to be used directly in in pursuit of drug convictions, which obviously, you know, that there's the opportunity for that. I'm just curious whether you have to put special stickers on them. You don't? Okay.
There's a decision in your packet from MTS.
MTS made a point on that about that it's allowed in the drug fund.
Okay,
So,
I missed that one.
Any other discussion on the motion?
What's the current balance in the drug fund? I didn't look at it. I know it's,
19,000.
okay, so this will deplete the drug fund.
And roll call. All those, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Guys,
Motion. What?
If you pass, you gotta vote again.
no, they asked me if I want to vote, I'm still.
Excuse me, what was your vote?
I just passed on the vote.
You passed on the vote?
Yeah.
Okay. One pass on the vote, motion carries on first reading. Okay. We have discussed flow meters and had several workshops with our engineer on water and sewer issues. First item of business, I would need a motion to purchase the flow meter for the Grundy Housing Pump Station for a total of $7,135.61, and associated software for $1,895.40, for a total, including the SCADA system and all the notification and software, for a total of $9,031.01. Is there a motion to accept that purchase?
I make a motion that we accept that purchase.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Yes, is this, all this stuff on this little handout here, page 4 of 8?
Yes, permission.
Is that okay? And was that something we were going to be able to change and go for the grant when we didn't have to do the pressurized line? This is something separate from that?
No, it'll be maintained by the town once it's installed, and it'll be installed even after the project. In other words, we're buying them.
And then the management engineering reporting, final data, is almost, is over a third of the total project. Is that normal for that to be that high?
Yes, considering the software and all that, I've had discussion and several suppliers, and these are the specs that the engineer is recommending that we move forward with. It's what we've been discussing right along for the pump station at Grundy Housing.
I think we need to readdress the motion, because I'm fairly confident you said the motion was for 9,000, not 99,
Total.
not 99,000.
No, $9,031.01.
This is just for certain pieces of equipment out of this list.
Exactly.
This is not the whole
Oh,
thing.
okay.
It's for the, if we could listen, it's for the flow meter, which is what I read, for Grundy Housing Pump Station, and that's the $9,000 item, which has been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion on the motion?
Okay.
There was a separate package with that information.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now, the other part, the larger issue, a motion to approve the task order which you've received for performing a 3-month comprehensive flow monitoring study within the sanitary sewer collection system for a total of $99,350. The funds for the flow study are capitalized as part of the ongoing sewer work in the system. The engineer and the accountant have had several phone conversations about this, and it can be capitalized. The work will be spread out. It won't be one check or one invoice for that full amount. So it'll probably be spread out over close to a year. Is there a motion to accept that?
So, sorry, just to understand this better, now we're asking for this total list here of 99,000. You said it's going to be paid for by what again?
It'll be a part of the I&I as phase 2 of I&I.
And
So we're approving the concept, or we're approving that we're gonna
We're
fund
approving the
this?
purchase and we're approving the task order.
We just bought the equipment and now we gotta do the task order to operate it, sounds like. Is that right?
Yeah, because that's the study that we wanted.
shouldn't that be done after we know we got the grant, so that we're not committing ourselves to this $99,000 out of our own money? Or does that matter?
Well, I don't think it matters, because it's part of the grant, and we have some part of the grant money already committed.
We've already got some of the money.
We've already got the grant money for it? Okay.
So this is gonna come out of the capitalized,
Yes,
instead of our
Phase 2.
general operating budget, it'll come out of,
it'll come out of the capital account, not
yeah.
the for water and sewer.
So it's just reducing that balance by 99,000. Do we know what that balance is right now, approximate?
Not offhand, you know? No, not offhand. We'll get that for you. It does not deplete the
I mean, that's
account.
fine, I didn't think it did.
And we think we'll get this money back when we get the I&I grant? or-
It'll be reimbursable. Any other discussion on the motion?
Sorry, we didn't get to a motion. I just was trying to figure out what's a motion. So
The motion was to approve the task order for the 3-month study that we wanted, which picks up, of course, the Assembly, Tracy City, and Grundy Housing. I mean, this is all that we've discussed, for an amount of $99,350.
I make a motion to accept the task order as written for the $99,350 with all of its listed items.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on the motion?
I don't see any,
Oh,
I don't see any monitoring around the assembly. I only see Grundy Housing and Inman. So,
well, as part of the I&I, we'll review the assembly as well.
but the assembly did that work, Tracy City did the work, and Grundy Housing did the work. So I would think we need to monitor all 3 of those sites.
That's what we're saying, we're monitoring the 3.
But
If they're
this,
claiming they did the work, then we want to see what the flow meter was. This is what we've been discussing at those workshops.
I know, I don't see anything about the assembly in here. I only see Grundy Housing and Tracy City.
No, he has expressed to me the town will evaluate the I&I from Grundy Housing, Tracy City, and the Sunday School Assembly. That's part of the task order, and subsequent to associated repair work.
But it's not in this document here. Is it in another document?
Well, it would be covered by the I&I grant. I mean, that's all part of this whole study.
It only says 2 satellite systems.
It only says,
Phase 2 does include assembly.
Page 2.
Phase 2.
Oh, phase 2.
So the background on the task order says the town accepts flow from 2 satellite systems, Grundy Housing and Tracy City, so it doesn't list the assembly at all.
well, it is the intent to review the assembly as well. Because if they all did the work, the reason we're doing all this flow is to do that. So it's,
Well, I thought they had told us at one time you could not flow meter the assembly because it had 2 or 3 different points of coming into the system. Would that be true, John?
It's got,
Multiple points?
yeah, it does. 3, I think.
Yeah, I think we've been
of
told
sewer
that. Yeah.
or water.
So they did temporary flow meters before entering the assembly, because they all tie into that main line, though, right?
Yeah.
And so what they did before was they put a flow meter before the assembly and a flow meter after, and it captured all the...
Yeah.
Is there any further discussion on the motion? Roll call vote, please.
James,
Can I ask one question from John before we vote, or is that out of order?
Go ahead.
What's the deal on the assembly, on if we went back to the fence on, what is that, North Central? Is where we did the temporary flow test one time? And that's what we would have to do again, and then see what the influence is at the plant then? Or,
No, because it picks up, if you put the flow meter there, it picks up the other, like coming
well,
down
we
the
have to
spur.
pick up all the other
Yeah,
customers. Yeah.
that's the reason they need a separate
flow meter on there to tell what's coming in, what's coming in.
But it had to be on 3 points, on every point to get an accurate reading.
And one of them was a car wash, and I think it's discontinued.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
I don't think there's nothing on that anymore. But now part comes down from Tower Bank. But I don't think that's coming from the car
Okay,
wash.
okay, I just wanted clarification.
So how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Grant?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Nate?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you. There being no further business, the next meeting will be January 26, 2026.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hang on,
I
hang on.
thought we had talked about a December
The
meeting.
December meeting. Yeah, we didn't make a decision to cancel the December meeting.
Well, we had traditionally canceled it, and I don't see why we can't cancel it.
But we had some business we wanted to discuss, and
And what
for
business is
whatever
that?
reason, I don't remember what it was. What were we talking about the other day about this?
Well, I mean, we could talk about offenses against the town. We could talk about a sign ordinance. We could talk about the personnel policy.
Yeah, and in that personnel policy, I want to discuss the issue that we had in regards to the employee Avery Merrill, which the mayor had fired, which he did have the authority to do that. But the allegations that he made toward potential issues of altering some kind of flow charts or meter readings or whatever it is.
There's misrepresentation of some meter readings.
Yeah, thank you. And I think we can, we need either to talk about that or just go ahead and contact the auditor, or, but that needs to be looked at if there's potential problems there. And there may not be, but I think we need to gather the facts.
Well, I've never felt comfortable canceling the December meeting.
But we always have, as you know, so it's
Well,
comfortable or not comfortable.
I think we have enough business, even though it might be a quick meeting, I think we have enough business. We have 1, 2, 3, 4
Are we gonna be ready
second
for all
readings
of
to
those?
do, and then this personnel issue, so I think we have enough to warrant having a December meeting.
Okay, so it'll be December 29th?
I think we ought to do it before around the 15th.
Yeah.
Oh,
Where are you talking about, a workshop or a
I'm
regular
talking
meeting?
about just the official business of the city. I mean, this is a
I don't think we have
$4.5 million
time to do,
operation.
I don't think we have time to do workshops and an earlier meeting of the 15th and running into the Christmas holidays. That's why we have traditionally eliminated the December meetings, as you recall.
Well, I wasn't here.
I mean, if you're gonna be all set and ready to go with all your workshops, I don't know when we're gonna schedule
Well, I
this.
think we can discuss part of that workshop stuff at the city meeting. And then even vote on it if it needs a vote. I don't know, what day is 14th, 15th, is it?
15th is a Monday.
I make a motion, we meet the 15th of December at 5 o'clock, regular December meeting. I'll light a candle.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second
I'll
that.
second.
Any further discussion? I think it would be inappropriate if we weren't prepared to discuss all that you're talking about. And to turn the city meeting into a workshop, I think is also inappropriate. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Okay, we'll figure out schedules for the workshops.
We're gonna adjourn.
Yes, meeting's adjourned.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second your motion.
Thank you.